This conference will
Yes,
now
sir.
be recorded.
Yeah, yeah, Harish.
Yeah.
Today we will cover. Yesterday we covered this navigation part, right?
Yes, correct.
Correct. So today we will cover. Wait.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. So today we will see the PP overview part, and then we will move to the organization structure. We will cover that today. Just give me 1 minute. Huh? We will see the overview part. Okay. So we will start the overview part. Okay. So what is PP module is all about? We will cover this. Okay. So basically, the, the SAP PP module, the SAP PP module supports the planning and production functions occurring in day-to-day business operations. So basically, the production planning module, okay, will take care of planning and production execution. That means manufacturing execution. These two activities, these two business functions are covered by PP module. Okay, it helps to manage the full range of manufacturing activities from planning to execution and analysis in a single end-to-end system. So basically PP module, with the PP module, you will be able to manage all your manufacturing activities. Okay, starting from planning to execution, production execution and analysis. Okay, yeah. SAP PP helps to record, monitor and tracks all the activities of manufacturing and production processes of a company. So once you have the PP module, you will be able to record everything for a particular product, how much quantity you manufactured in a particular period. Okay, let's say in a month or in a day or in a year, how much quantity you manufactured. Okay, and you can monitor how much quantity already manufactured, how much quantity under manufacturing, under progress, WAP, and you can track all the other activities like what is your machine consumption time, machine usage time, what is the what is the consumption of your raw materials. Okay, what is the quantity, everything you can track. Okay, so by using this PP module, you can record, monitor, and track all the activities related to manufacturing. Okay, and the SAP PP module creates the critical links between sales, production, and procurement. So basically, our PP module is acts as a link between your purchasing activity. Here you have, let's say, PP. It acts as a link between your purchasing, your procurement, purchase, and then your sales. It acts as a link between these two. Okay, this part we will understand when we go into the subsequent classes. Okay, and it is fully integrated with other SAP modules. So already you might be knowing the other modules in SAP like SD, sales and distribution, MM, materials management, QM, quality management, FICO, financial accounting and controlling, and plant maintenance. So it is fully integrated with other modules. Okay, that integration part we will understand when we go to the subsequent classes. When we go to the actual real classes, that time we will understand all this integration part. Okay. So this slide will give you the overall picture, overall overview of PP module. Okay, so basically PP module is divided into two sub modules basically. Like if you see here, this is the one. The top portion will contain planning, okay, and the bottom portion is execution, production execution. It is production execution. Okay, so basically what happens is you receive the material forecast from the sales team. Okay, sales team, what they do for a product, they will calculate the forecast based on certain assumptions, based on certain criteria. They will calculate the forecast is like a demand, future demand, like next 12 months or next 1 year. For a particular product, they will calculate the forecast. Okay, and at the same time, from the customers you get the sales orders. From the SD module you get the sales orders, actual sales orders. You call it as customer orders. So you take this both, you put it into your demand program, demand management. So once you put it into the demand management, you run MRP, material requirement planning. So here you have SOP. Forecasting is nothing but a topic called SOP, sales and operations planning. And then you put into the demand management, which we cover through demand management, topic called demand management. Once your demand is ready, two types of demand, one is forecast, one is customer orders. And once the demand is ready, you do MRP, material requirement planning. So this we will be covering in the MRP topic. Okay, once you run MRP, what system does is, system check the existing inventory stock of that particular product. If at all any shortage is there, it will generate a planned order. Okay, so till this part, planning. Now once the planned order is generated, means we need to do production, we need to do manufacturing. So now this planned order is converted to production order. So this part comes under production execution, manufacturing execution. So you convert the planned order to production order. Using this production order, production people will start the manufacturing activity. So once the manufacturing is done, your product will be ready, stock will be ready. Then this stock will be delivered to the customer, goods issue. This is SD part. Okay, so at the same time, when you run MRP, if it is a procured part, if it is a raw material, to do production, you need some raw materials. Okay, so for those raw materials, if there is no stock, system will generate a purchase requisition. This purchase requisition is converted to purchase order. Okay, and then this purchase order is given to the vendors, supplier. Raw materials, we are talking about raw materials, and vendor will supply the material, they receive the material, and this material will be used in the production. So this part, this purchasing part, will be taken care by MM. In the real time, it comes under the scope of MM module, materials management module. Okay, so basically you need to understand PP module basically takes care of two things. One is planning, top portion is planning, bottom portion is your actual manufacturing execution. Okay, so basically to cover up this entire flow, basically we will be discussing these functionalities. First is sales and operations planning. Okay, next one is your demand management. Okay, after that we will discuss MRP, material requirement planning. Okay, and after that we will discuss about production execution. Okay, here in this we will cover the three industries: discrete, process, and repetitive. Three types of industries we will cover in the production execution, and on top of that we will be discussing batch management. Okay, so these are basically these business processes, these functionalities will cover up this entire flow. Okay, so first three are planning. Say SOP and demand management. Okay, and this MRP, this will take care of your planning activities. And the down one, the production execution, is your manufacturing execution. Okay, so these are the topics we'll be discussing on a broader level when we go to the actual subsequent classes. Okay, so this is the basic overview of PP module. Okay, Harish, are you there? Harish?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Harish, till this part is okay.
Yeah, this part is okay.
Okay. So we are done with the PP module overview. Okay, so now we will move on to the organization structure. Organization structure related to PP module.
Savan, one quick question.
Who is this? What's your name?
Yeah, hi, Savan, this is Aditya.
Oh, yeah, Aditya, tell me.
So, are we going to review these things in S4?
Yeah, yes. We will be discussing S4 HANA server. Yes.
So, you'll be talking everything in the S4 HANA, like all the Fiori apps and all those things, for according to this process, each process that you're talking about.
Fiori, the execution will happen on the GUI only, normal SAP GUI only. If you need Fiori, we'll have a 1 hour class on Fiori, how to log into Fiori and how to execute the apps and all. But the normal, when the actual class goes on this topic, we'll be using GUI only, but it will be S4 HANA server 1909 version.
Okay, 1909. Okay, because there is a lot of difference when you're trying to execute the same process via Fiori versus.
Navigation will be different. What's your name? Aditya?
Yep.
A slight difference in navigation, but the functionality, what you're executing, what effect happens, it remains the same. Actually, basically, Fiori is for end users, not for the consultants. Here we are understanding the concepts, not the navigations. See, as a consultant, your main focus should be understanding the concepts, not the navigations and all. Okay, Fiori, it's like for end users, not for the consultants actually. Only just the navigation will be different, that's all. There will be a slight change in the navigation, but ultimately the function or the activity you are going to execute remains the same. Okay, we will have a separate class on Fiori. Okay, Aditya, got it right?
Okay.
Sorry. So Harish, shall we move to the next topic? Harish?
Yes, sir. We can.
Savan.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
see, one thing I observed was, right, so when you do all these notes, right, can you, I know you're kind of doing it in Notepad. I mean, can you like do it in a OneNote or something, or can we get a summary of all these different key points that you're discussing, right? I know you're going to do Notepad for next 2 months, right?
Everything I have yeah, I got it. Everything, whatever I am discussing is documented in Word files. I'll share all those Word files. Nothing to worry.
Yeah, I know you share the process document, but I'm just talking about these kind of few hints that, like just like this, right? You just talked about 5 key bullet points, right? So like this, and if you can maintain one notepad for all of them, like day 1 this, day 2 this, one notepad for everything, and if we can get a copy of that, I think that would be good.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll do that.
Thanks.
I'll save it in a single notepad. Okay, sure. Okay. So we'll now move on to the org structure, organization structure related to PP module. Okay. Okay. Enterprise structure in PP. Okay. So the topics that we are going to cover, we'll understand what is enterprise structure, what are the organizational units in with respect to PP, production planning module, what is client, what is company code, what is plant, and what is storage location. So these are the topics we'll be covering in the enterprise structure. Okay. So basically, what is enterprise structure? Enterprise structure is also called as organization structure. Okay, enterprise structure is nothing but organization structure. Okay, so this is the one. SAP enterprise structure. SAP enterprise structure is organizational structure that represents an enterprise in SAP R3 system. That means, let's say you are working for an organization. That organization may have lot of what you call different manufacturing sites, different distribution centers, different HR offices, different what you call godowns in different countries, in different cities, in different states, in different provinces, okay, in different locations. So all those things are mapped into the system, SAP system, using this enterprise structure. Enterprise structure is nothing but the organization structure. How many manufacturing locations it have, how many distribution center it have, okay, how many HR offices, all those things are entered or created in the system using enterprise structure. Okay, it consists of some organizational units which for legal reasons, for other specific business related reasons or purposes are grouped together. So basically, any SAP implementation or any SAP activity, any SAP kind of implementation you do, first thing is you create the enterprise structure in the system. This is the initial beginning point. Without enterprise structure, you cannot do further activities. Okay, so that is the one. So basically, it is created for legal reasons, okay, and for actual business related to execute the business related functions. Okay, this is the one. Organizational units may be assigned to a single module. Okay, so there will be some organizational units which are used by only particular module. Like if you have sales organization, it is normally used only by SD module. Or some organizational units are used by several modules, like plant. Let's say you have a plant. Plant is used by MM module and also by PP module. Okay, so what you need to understand is the organizational units or some organizational units are specific to only one module. Some organizational units are used by multiple modules, different modules. That's what you need to understand. So basically, enterprise structure is required for business related reasons, to execute the business functions, day-to-day business functions, for legal purposes and reporting purposes. So these are the reasons we need to create the enterprise structure. Okay, so now coming to organizational units with respect to PPR: client, company code, plant and storage location. So these are the things: client, company code, plant and storage location. We will discuss all these things one by one. Okay, so I'll put it over here. The first one is client. Next one is company code. Next one is plant. The third one is storage location. Last one is storage location. So these are the organizational units with respect to PP model. There are some other organizational units, but those are handled by those are used by other modules like MMSD, FICO, other modules, PM, other modules. But with respect to PP, these are the ones. Okay, now we will understand what are all these things in detail, in depth. Okay, so first we'll start with client. Okay, so what is a client? A client is defined as a self-contained commercial, organizational and technical unit within an SAP system. Okay, from a business viewpoint, the client represents a corporate group. So client is nothing but the company, organization for which you are implementing SAP. So I'll explain with a real-time example. Okay, Harish, you know Toyota, right? Harish? Harish,
Yes, sir.
what they do, Harish?
Yes.
Toyota
They make cars, automobiles.
they make cars. Yeah, Toyota Automobiles, they make cars. Okay. Suppose, let's say you are
Yeah.
implementing SAP for Toyota Automobiles, let's say. Okay.
Okay.
Now, Toyota Automobiles now is a company, right? Is a company. Okay.
Yeah, correct.
Company. So this Toyota Automobiles in SAP system, it is called as client. Client.
Okay.
So client is nothing but the company or organization for which you are implementing SAP. So this word company is our regular layman term. Company. This is our regular layman term, and the client is the SAP terminology. Okay. So understand, client is nothing but a company or an organization for which
Yes,
you are
sir.
implementing this client.
Yeah.
Okay. So now the client is the highest hierarchical level in the SAP ERP system. So the client is the topmost one. Okay. The client is a unit within an SAP ERP system that is self-contained both in legal and organizational terms and in terms of data with separate master records and an independent set of tables. So basically client will contain its own separate master records and some data relevant for execute their business functions. So that is a client. It is denoted with 3-digit number like 000, 100, 400 normally. Okay, so when you log on to the SAP system, you will be able to see a client. Suppose if I try to log in, see here, you see there is a client, 3-digit, 3-character this thing, and so that is nothing but client. So that's a client. Okay, that's what you need to understand. That is client. So basically client is nothing but an organization, company for which you are implementing SAP. That's what client. Okay. So now we will move on. Next is company code. What is company code? Basically company code is for finance people, not for us, but as a PP consultant you should know what is company code. A company code represents an independent accounting unit. For example, a company within a corporate group. Okay, so company code is basically a financial unit, accounting unit. Okay, within the client. Balance sheets, profit and loss statements required by law are created at the company code level. So all financial reporting like balance sheets, profit and loss statements, others, whatever is there, they are created normally at company code level. So in our example, let's go to Toyota Automobiles. Now Toyota Automobile is a leading automobile manufacturer in the world. Okay, so they are basically from Japan. Toyota Automobiles is from Japan, but even though it is from Japan, it is having its presence in all the countries in the world. Okay, all the countries in the world. Let's take some countries for example. Okay, so let me take USA. Okay, and let's take UK. Okay, and let's take Singapore. Okay, Singapore. Okay, of course India. Okay, so let's take these 4 countries for our discussion. Okay, so now Toyota Automobiles, let's say having its presence in these countries. In the USA they do manufacturing, sales, distribution, whatever they do. So what they do, let's say for US country they will create a company code for US country. So like company code, as I told earlier, finance accounting unit. It's accounting unit. Separate accounting unit. So what they do, whatever they do in US, manufacturing, sales, distribution, whatever they do, for that to generate the reported country level, USA level, for USA they will create a company code. Okay, so let's say they will give a code like this. For let's say for USA 1000. For UK they will create a separate company code. Say 2000. I'm just giving example. Singapore 3000. Singapore you cannot do manufacturing, only HR office or head offices So for those, you have a company code. Let's say for India, another company code. Okay, so that is the one. So basically, to generate their profit and loss statements, all the financial related statements, they will create company code. They will create, sorry. Okay, so that is a company code. Okay, so don't worry about company code. Company code is for finance people. Okay, and it will be taken care by purely finance consultants. Okay, so that is a company code. Now after the company code, so this is the one. Next one is plant. Okay, so what is a plant? A plant is an organizational unit within a company. A plant is a place where you produce goods. It can be a manufacturing location where you render services, distribution center, or you customer service place, or you make the goods available for distribution, a distribution center or a go down warehouse. So all these are called as plants. Okay, so this is the one. The plant is an organizational unit within logistics that subdivides an enterprise from the viewpoints of production, procurement, and material planning. So it can be a manufacturing location, it can be a separate warehouse, it can be a distribution center, or it can be even HR office is also termed as a plant. Okay, and plant will be physically existing and it is unique in the system. Okay, so if you go to our example, let's say take the case of India. So now let's start plant. Okay, plant. So plant can be anything. It can be a manufacturing location. It can be a distribution center. It can be a separate warehouse, what you call go down. In our layman terms, we call go down warehouse, or even HR office is also termed as a plant, separate HR office. So all these are nothing but plants. Okay, so if you take your example, if you take for let's say take for India, Toyota India. Let's say Toyota India, they have a manufacturing unit in Mumbai. Let's say Mumbai, they manufacture cars in Mumbai location. They have a manufacturing site, and let's say they have one more manufacturing site in Goa. Okay, and let's say they have a distribution center, let's say in Chennai. And let's say they have a main head office. Toyota India, they're having their head office is in Delhi. All these are called as plants in the system. Okay, so for each this one, they will assign a code. Let's say this one 4100, this one 4200, Chennai 4300, Delhi 4400, like this. So all these are called plants. Mumbai is a plant. This is a manufacturing location. Okay, like this. This is a manufacturing location, and this is a manufacturing location, manufacturing site. This is a distribution center, and this is a HR office. All these are called as plants. All these are called as plants. Okay, all these are called plants. Okay, and plant is denoted with 4-digit alphanumeric key like ABCD 1 2 3 4 and AB12. So you can have every plant normally will have 4-digit code, 4-character code. It can be fully alphabetic or fully numeric or alphanumeric. It depends. Okay, and plant is always assigned to the company code. Okay, so once you create the plant, once they create the plant, they will assign to the company code. So now these 4 plants will be assigned to this company code, India. That is the one here. Plant is always assigned to the company code, and a particular plant can be assigned to only one company code. That means that Mumbai plant can be assigned only to India company code. You cannot assign the Mumbai plant to 2 different company codes. You cannot do that. One plant to one company code only you can assign, but one company code can have multiple plants assigned to it. But the reverse way is, under a company code you can have multiple plants. That is one. Interviews, they will ask this question: can we assign one plant to 2 different company codes? No, you cannot assign. So these kind of questions only you will get it in the interviews. Okay, and again, plant is unique in the system. It is unique in the system. You cannot create 2 plants with same code. Same code you cannot create, and it will be physically existing. Plant will be physically existing. The one which we discussed, company code, is like a virtual one. It's a virtual one, company code, but plant will be really physically existing. That's what you need to understand. Okay, so that is the plant. Now the next one is storage location. Storage location. Storage locations allow the differentiation of material stocks within a plant. So storage location is the place where you keep your materials. Last one. Storage location. Okay, storage location is the place, physical place. It is nothing. Physical place. Okay. Suppose let's say Harish, are you there? Harish, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Suppose let's say in your house, Harish, where you will keep this salt, sugar, pepper, all those things? Where you will keep?
In the kitchen.
So why you keep them in kitchen? What is the reason?
So it will be easy for me to get it while cooking.
That's right. So basically, you in the kitchen you do cooking. So during the cooking process, you use those metals. So all the kitchen items, all the items which are used during cooking, you keep them in kitchen. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
Suppose let's say where you keep these bed sheets, pillows, towels, where you will keep normally?
Bed sheets, pillows in the bedroom.
Bedroom. So why you use them? Why you keep them in bedroom? Because those items are used normally during sleeping. Correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
So basically, similar kind of materials are stored in a particular place. That place is called
Okay.
storage. So suppose if you take your house as a plant, kitchen you can call kitchen as a storage location where you keep
Okay.
kitchen items. And your what do you call that? Towels, pillows, bed sheets, all those things, your shirts, pants, whatever, everything you store it in bedroom. You call bedroom as a storage location. So storage location is the place where you keep your materials, similar kind of materials. Okay. So
Okay.
now let's say for raw materials, one storage location. Packing materials, one storage location. I'm just giving examples. Semi-finished products, one storage location, and the semi-finished products, one storage location. So like this, you create the storage location. So that is a storage location is the place where you keep or you store your materials. Okay. So normally now under the plant you have all these storage locations. So let's say you take Mumbai plant. Under the Mumbai plant you have all these storage location. All the raw materials are stored in one place. All the packing materials are stored in one place. All the semi-finished products are stored in one place. All the finished products, end product, like in our case end product is car, Toyota car. So those are stored in one place. Later on they will sell to the customers. So this place is called as a storage location. This is the one, storage location. Storage locations allow differentiation of material stocks within a plant. So under the plant you have these storage locations. You see it here, storage location. This is the one. A storage location is the place where materials are physically stored. Okay, several storage locations can be defined within a plant. Under a plant you can have multiple storage locations. Okay, inventory management on quantity basis is carried out in the plant at storage location level. Okay, storage location always created with reference to a plant. Whenever you are creating a storage location, you have to give plant also. You cannot create storage location independently. Okay, so that's what. A storage location is defined by means of a 4-character alphanumeric key that is unique in the plant. Okay, so storage location we normally will have a 4-character key like 1000 or AB12 or whatever. A plant can have multiple storage locations assigned to it. Okay, so that is our storage locations. Now I will show you these things in the system. Okay, so I'll just log on to the system. In the real time, we will not be creating all these things actually. Okay, but I will show you where they are created. Just one minute. Now I'll show you where you can see all these things: client, company code, plant and storage location, all those things. But the most important thing for PP, for all our PP activities, the most important organizational unit is plant. All our activities will happen at plant level. All our PP master data, transactional data, okay, configuration data, everything is done at plant level. For PP, the most important organizational unit is plant. Okay, so now I'll show you in the system. So you need to go to configuration, SPRO. Okay, go to SPRO, SAP reference IMG. You need to click on this button. IMG means implementation bed. Click on this button. Okay, you will be getting this screen. Somebody asked, this is HANA Servera. Somebody asked, whose name? This is HANA Servera. Who asked that question? Okay, so once you are into the implementation guide, here you see there is an option called enterprise structure. Okay, open this node, enterprise structure, go to definition, open this here, logistics general. I'll directly show you plant. Okay, here, define, copy, delete, check plant. This is the place. We will not be creating, but at least you should know where they are available. So go here, define plant, double click. Okay, see these many plants are available. Okay, all these are, this is the plant code, its name. And if you go inside, you can see other details. Select this, go to details. You see here, it's details, where it is located, its street, postal code, city, and its country, where it is located, you can see. Still, if you want to see the exact address, you need to click on this button, address button. If you click on that, you see the exact address details, everything, you can see it here. This is the plant. And if they want to create a new plant, what they do? They click on this button here, click new entries, and they will create. We will not be creating the plant in real time. As a PP consultant, you will not create. Creation of organization, plant and storage location will be done by consultant. He will do that because plant will be used by a lot of other modules, not only by PP, by other modules. You will not be creating in the real time. Okay, this is the plant. This is the plant where you can see the plant. Now coming to the what do you call storage location, I'll show you where it is storage location. Here in the materials, I'll show you the navigation path again, storage location. Go to enterprise structure, open this, go to definition, go to materials management. Okay, here maintain storage location, open this. See, the moment I'm trying to go inside storage location, it is asking you to enter the plant. It is asking you to enter the plant. That's what we discussed here. Storage location always created with reference to plant. Okay, so this is a plant. So enter the plant. I'm entering one plant, 1010. You can select from the list also. You can select from the list, but as of now, I'm entering the first plant, 1010. Okay, continue. See, in this plant, there are 5 storage locations are there. You see, this many are there. This many are there. Okay, I'll create a new one. If you want to create it, you can create a new one. Suppose if you want to create a new one, just click on the button new entries. I'll create a new one, L000. Okay, I'm creating a new storage location. Save it. It will, as it is a configuration, it will ask for a transport request. I'll save it in a new transport request. Okay, but anyhow, in the real time, you will not create the storage location. Again, it will be done by consultants. Okay, so this is the place where you can see the raw storage locations within the plant. Okay, so that's all for org structure. As I told earlier, the most important thing for us is plant. All our PP activities, all the master data, config data, configuration data, and transactional data, PP related, everything will happen at plant level. Transactional data, all will happen at plant level. So for us, plant is the main thing. Suppose if I try to create a bomb, suppose if I want to create a bomb, if I go to CS01, see, it is asking the plant here. It will ask plant. Without plant, you cannot create. So wherever you go, plant is required for PP. Suppose if I try to create a routing CS01, see here you need to enter the plant. So plant is the main thing for us. Okay, so that's all. With this we are done with org structure, organization structure related to PP. Tomorrow we'll start with master data. First we'll start with material master. Tomorrow onwards we will be executing the transactions. Still we are at the overview level, introduction level kind of thing. Tomorrow onwards we will be executing executing the transactions from tomorrow onwards. Okay,